The Australian outback is beautiful, but it is also harsh and cruel.
Even being Aussie myself, I'm not used to it, this Aussie heat.
It also contains some of the world's most hidden treasures. Between the years of 1851 to 1871, the population of Australia quadrupled as millions of migrants rushed to our shores to strike it rich in the gold rush. Although there are still rumours of unhidden gold reserves, there is a lesser known beauty lying in the Aussie ground. Sapphires, made of the mineral corundum, are the third hardest mineral on Earth. They're known for their blue, clear beauty, but actually can come in a range of different colours. Each year, over $7 billion worth of sapphires are sold in global markets. So, wanting to try our luck, my brother and I set off in search of this blue treasure.
So we're here in the Aussie outback looking for gems. The question is, are we gonna keep them, donate them to charity, or are we gonna sell them for more than what we found? Let's go looking for some beautiful sapphires, maybe a bit of gold, who knows? We could even find some pirate's treasure. Let's go.
You may remember my brother Julian from one of my previous videos. This trip was a great chance to see him again, and since our last Hollywood adventure, he's been dedicating his life to protecting some of Australia's most endangered animals. We made our way from his home in Townsville, 4 hours drive, to a place called 40 Mile. And despite having no experience with sapphires, we watched a bunch of YouTube videos, we bought a prospecting permit, and he kindly loaded the car up with all the tools we thought we'd need.
So we've officially arrived at our first spot for prospecting on day one. Let me give you a tour. This looks like a dried up riverbed. A lot of the area seems turned up by people before us. I've been working this patch over here, but it's hard going. We've been at it for a couple of hours now. Hot, flies, lots of ants, but still we're motivated by the finds. Take a look at some of these bad boys. I'm not gonna zoom in too much on them because if they're precious, don't want you guys chasing me for them. Probably if we did it next time, we'd get someone along who actually knew what they were doing. But I think we're improving. As we dig more, we refine the technique. We're having a few more smiles, and especially as the sun goes down, it's good to get a break out of this Aussie heat.
Dreaming of sapphires all night, we hit the second day with a renewed sense of vigour. We sent up the drone and saw what resembled an ancient river bed. Wanting to take a closer look, we walked for about 30 minutes on foot and found that it was actually an ancient lava overflow from a prehistoric volcano.
We followed what we think is a kangaroo trail, and you can see here that a lot of the rock is more volcanic. In the ancient times, this all would have been a part of a big lava flow running down, and that formed the bed of the creek here. And the idea is that inside some sapphires that we're going to find. We were told to look for little rocks that look like black specks. It's definitely backbreaking work. I think between us we've probably done several hundred pans now. This was my claim here. You can see I've taken a decent chunk out of the hill. Jules was working this little one over here. We're gonna head up, have some lunch, recharge, and then come back for another crack. So Jules, we're walking back. After day one, how do you feel about the first half of day two?
Good. We got some saps, a bit of colour. Yeah, just got to keep the momentum.
You're modest, but you're inexperienced in the bush. You work with wildlife. Do you think that tourists should come out and try this kind of stuff?
100%, as long as they're with someone that knows what they're doing. It's all about being prepared.
All the finds so far, so that is 2 days backbreaking work in one little bag. Reflections so far: 1, there's no cooler feeling when you find something. Number 2, it really is a patience game. Number 3, the spot really matters. Sometimes you'll work a spot and you need to think about moving on and having humility to say, yep, I made a mistake. The last one is the conditions. There's flies everywhere. Who knows what else is out there? As Julian said earlier, do it with someone you can trust that knows the bush, so I'm in luck with him. We've run into some locals here.
Hello, my name's Shelley. I'm first-time prospector. Hopefully I'm gonna find a big ball of blue stone.
Tell us about your coffee van.
I have the Horsesome Coffee in Woolgaroo. We're in Stewart Drive. We started as a horse float and we turned it into a coffee van. It's great.
We've been working for 2 days. We just showed you our secret stash and you were super impressed.
Absolutely.
Let's go get some sapphires. If we don't, we could also get some horse training tips.
Or drinking tips.
It's what the Australian spirit's about, making some friends.
After digging for some time, we began to notice specks of colour in our pans and we'd hit the jackpot.
If we come down here right on the ground, we can sometimes see tiny little black specks. This is indicative of some form of lava flow. So what we do here, we find a little section, get some dirt like this and put it on the sifter. And when we shake it out, see how it nicely separates? You should be able to see a crystal speck right in here. And I'll show you what it looks like.
Thank you.
See you.
Thanks for having us.
We haven't left empty-handed. The trick that we found after doing all these big digs is on the surface, just work with the dirt right on top. The water naturally washes everything down and there's been some sapphire action on deck. So we're gonna clean those sapphires up. Question is, are they good enough to sell?
After working for 3 days at the site, here's a collection of the gemstones that we found. After sending some photos to a gem expert, they estimated that we'd pulled between $4,000 to $5,000 worth of precious gemstones from the ground. However, given that it might be hard to find a buyer for some of the lower quality stones, they estimated that we could sell what we'd found for about $2,000 in bulk to the right person. Not so bad for our first go at sapphire hunting together. Overall, it was a great experience and an excellent way to learn about the gemstone industry by literally getting our hands dirty. After this, we're keen to try our hand at opal hunting as well. So if you'd like to see this and many more adventures, don't forget to like this channel and subscribe.